Good morning. Welcome. I am saying this to a mostly empty room, but I know you're out there watching, and I want to say welcome. And hey, have you ever felt unwelcome someplace, or invisible, or unacknowledged, or unimportant? Maybe you've had such experiences, and it kind of sunk in, and you thought that maybe there was something wrong with you, instead of there being a lack of hospitality. Maybe you even came to feel that you didn't deserve to be welcome, and that there's no place for you, and that you're some kind of an interloper. I think we've all felt that way at one time or another. That's why I sometimes say thank you for the gift of your presence, because you are a gift of life to the rest of us. And if we don't get excited when we see you, it's because we don't really see you. But we do see you, and we do get excited when we see one another. This past week, a member was imagining how it's going to be when we regather in person. There's going to be lots of hugging and laughter, tears of gratitude, to be recognized, affirmed, appreciated. Who doesn't like that? Who doesn't need that? Who doesn't deserve that? Everyone. So for now, during the pandemic, I hope you'll let a welcoming spirit guide you in your daily interactions with those you do encounter. And let's envision that time, perhaps in the next few months, I think, when we'll be here together and we can make our welcomes to one another spiritually uplifting encounters. Welcome.
Our opening hymn today is Our World is One World. It's number 134 in the Gray Hymnal.
The beliefs of Unitarian Universalism are diverse and inclusive. We have no shared creed. Our shared covenant, which can be found in our 7 principles, supports the free and responsible search for truth and meaning. Please join me in saying our affirmation. Love is our doctrine. Compassion is our way. Here we seek to create a joyful home for free religious exploration, build a community of caring fellowship, nurture the hopes, and serve the needs of our world. For the gift of this day and for our community of spiritual nurture and compassion, we give thanks. We light these chalices as a symbol of our faith. May our many sparks meet and merge in the communion of heart and soul. Each week, we light 3 chalices. The first is for this congregation, the Unitarian Universalist congregation of Salem. We light our second chalice for our friends in our partner church in Shemen-Falva, Transylvania, Romania. And we light our third chalice for our children and youth in our congregation and in the world at large. Please join me as we sing the flame into life.
Rise up, O flame, by thy light glowing, show to us beauty, vision, and joy.
Hello, and welcome to the Time for All Ages portion of the service. The story I'm going to tell you today is called Bird's Nest by Sarah Conover. Long ago in China, there lived a monk who perched in a certain tree every day to meditate. No matter if the tree swayed in the fierce winds and rain, the monk settled himself comfortably high up in the tree. Because of this, he was nicknamed Bird's Nest by the village folk nearby. Many of the villagers passed beneath the monk while hunting or while gathering wood in the forest. After a time, they became used to the monk. Some began to stop and talk of their concerns with Bird's Nest. They liked the things he had to say, and soon Bird's Nest became known for his kind and thoughtful words. After more years, the monk's wise reputation spread throughout the province. Visitors from different cities hiked to the remote forest for advice. Even the governor of the province decided that he too would like to visit Bird's Nest to discuss matters of importance. So, one spring morning, the governor set off to find him. After traveling several days, he at last located the Bird's Nest tree in a dense forest. The monk sat calmly, high in the topmost branches, enjoying the warmth of the bird songs of spring. Looking up, the governor shouted, "Bird's Nest, I am the governor of this province, and I have come a great distance to speak with you. I have the most important question." The governor waited for a reply, but heard only the pleasant sounds of leaves stirring in the breeze. The governor continued, "This is my question. Tell me, Bird's Nest, what is it that all of the wise ones have taught? Can you tell me the most important thing the Buddha ever said?" There was a long pause, just the soft rustle of leaves again. Finally, the monk called down from the tree, "This is your answer, governor. Don't do bad things. Always do good things. That's what the Buddha taught." But the governor thought this answer far too simple to have walked 2 days for. Irritated and annoyed, the governor stammered, "Don't do bad things? Always do good things? I knew that when I was 3 years old, monk." Looking down at the governor, Bird's Nest replied with a wry smile. Yes, the 3-year-old knows it, but the 80-year-old still finds it very difficult to do. The moral of this story is, why look for truth in distant lands? Seek it in the depths of your own heart. Thanks be, and may all beings be happy. Please do consider joining us for the Children and Family Service being held live on Sunday mornings at 9:45 a.m., just before the live general service via Zoom.
Take a moment now to settle into where you are. Just be in this moment. If you want to take a breath to center yourself, that's a good thing. So I'm speaking to you at your home, and I wonder if you have a pet. If you have a pet, and they're up for it, why don't you hold your pet, cradle and pet and stroke your beloved animal friend in the ways you know brings them pleasure, a sense of connection, a sense of being cared for. And now as you are stroking, scratching, petting, caressing your animal friend, be aware of the tenderness, the compassion that you feel for this wonderful animal being with whom you have a special relationship. Be aware of your capacity to feel this way towards other beings born into this world for a short span of years. How our tenderness, how our kindness and compassion blesses others, how it blesses us, how it blesses us all, how it connects us and creates community. Let the light of compassion fill your heart, and let it guide you. Let it be practiced daily in your life. Gratitude and compassion are our way. It's dinner time. Steaming hot bowl, vegetable soup. Too hot to eat. I lift spoonful after spoonful to let it air cool so I can eat it. I behold the steaming miracle in the bowl. Delicious vegetables swimming in hot broth. Vegetables nurtured by the sun, the rain, brought to me by human labor. So here is this bowl of soup that my body wants and needs, and which I will completely enjoy eating once it cools down. And I remember to cool down my appetite. And take a moment for gratitude. Gratitude to have food. Just taking that pause to feel your gratitude is a good practice. Gratitude fills us with light. Gratitude liberates us from a sense of entitlement. Gratitude brings us happiness. Gratitude brings us joy. Gratitude is our way. Let us continue to walk the paths of compassion and gratitude. Amen.
You are welcome to submit a joy or a concern to the UUCS website as shown here on the screen, or you may refer to your online newsletter to find this website. Just click on it and you will be able to write your message.
Our pastoral hymn today is My Life Flows On in Endless Song. It's number 108 in the gray hymnal.
My life flows on in endless song above earth's lamentation. I hear the real, though far off hymn that hails a new creation. Through all the tumult and the strife, I hear the music ringing. It sounds an echo in my soul. How can I keep from singing? What though the tempest roars? I know the truth, it liveth. What though the darkness round me close? Songs in the night it giveth. No storm can shake my inmost calm, while to that rock I'm clinging. Since love prevails in heaven and earth, how can I keep from singing? When tyrants tremble as they hear the bells of freedom ringing, when friends rejoice both far and near, how can I keep from singing? To prison cell and dungeon vile, our thoughts to them are winging. When friends by shame are undefiled, how can I keep from singing?
We are one, a diverse group of proudly kindred spirits, here not by coincidence, but we choose to journey together. We are active and proactive. We care deeply. We live our love as best we can. We are one, working, eating, laughing, playing, singing, storytelling, sharing, and rejoicing, getting to know each other, taking risks, opening up, questioning, seeking, searching, trying to understand, struggling, making mistakes, paying attention, asking questions, listening, living our answers, learning to love our neighbors, learning to love ourselves, apologizing and forgiving with humility, and being forgiven through grace, creating the beloved community together. We are one.
When I was a lad, if I had been given the choice between playing in the woods or praying in the pews on Sunday mornings, what do you think I would have done? Well, I can tell you, playing in the woods would have won out every time. Yet, in direct violation of my constitutional rights, I was compelled by my mother to attend an official Christian worship service. I found church and Sunday school to be deadly dull. And I didn't see much evidence that people really took Jesus' call to love one another. I didn't see a whole lot of evidence that people really took that very seriously. I viewed all of this with a great deal of skepticism. Yet for some reason, the Bible was in a different category for me. I figured there must be something authoritatively true about this revered text, so I decided I was going to read it from cover to cover. I think I'm about 12 years old at the time. I think I got about as far as the 7th book of Genesis. I think I got bogged down in a thicket of begats, as in which generation begat which other one, and I was thinking, who cares? This begat boredom in me, and I abandoned the project. But still, I assumed that the good book was the storehouse of infallible wisdom. And certain passages leaped up into my consciousness as being especially significant. Like when Jesus says, "Many are called, but few are chosen." Many are called, but few are chosen. That stuck with me. That stark quote, plucked out of context, struck me as revealing some daunting truth about life. Namely, that only a spiritual elite or elect, some high-achieving perfectionists, would be able to attain the necessary moral perfection to pass muster with the Almighty. So I figured you're going to have to work like hell to get into heaven or find salvation or wisdom or whatever it is that the few make it to. Later as an adult, I encountered similar sentiments in Eastern religious traditions. In the Hindu tradition's Katha Upanishad, I read that the path is sharp, like a razor's edge, the sages say, difficult to traverse. Similarly, in the Buddhist tradition, I read the so-called Rhinoceros Sutra. It's one of the earliest Buddhist texts. It's called the Rhinoceros Sutra. It warns against the allurements and the distractions of the world, and it ends with the repeated refrain, "Wander alone like a rhinoceros." Wander alone like a rhinoceros. That is, a one-horned rhino that they saw wandering around in the jungles of Asia at the time. Later, when I began to explore our own Unitarian Universalist religious tradition, I gravitated towards the writings of Ralph Waldo Emerson, in whose essay, Self-Reliance, I read the words, "Trust thyself. Every heart vibrates to that iron string. Nothing is at last sacred but the integrity of your own mind." The point of all this seemed clear to me. The path to spiritual success was lonely. It's solitary, it was challenging. It was a narrow path which only a few could choose to undertake, or would even choose to undertake. Indeed, this message is not confined to those who seek the spiritual path to success. It's recommended as the path to success in general, whatever your field. It will take solitary effort, dedication, and persistence. That's the map we're given to follow on the road to success. The kind of success that society understands and champions and promotes. Which calls to mind Oregon, the state of Oregon's official motto. Do you know the official motto of Oregon? It's, "She flies with her own wings." It's that self-reliance. We do it ourselves. Or Frank Sinatra's song, "I Did It My Way." We've played that at more than one memorial service here over the years. Doing it your way, all by yourself, is indeed the path to success. Certain kind of success. The success of personal accomplishment. The success of personal accomplishment looks vastly different according to who you are. For some, it's material success, getting wealthy. For some, it's professional recognition or artistic achievement. For some, it is honing your unique skills, even if they're not marketable or well compensated. It's all about personal, professional growth and development. And this kind of success has value, even though, really, it's deluded to think that anyone achieves anything all alone. If you think you do, then you're deluded. You have to look more closely at how much effort from other people always feeds into anything that you do. Nevertheless, this commanding myth of the solitary striver and achiever holds sway. This, we are told, is the road to success. Recently, I heard a bright young valedictorian. I started to say Victorian, but no, he was a valedictorian. He was speaking of the great joy he felt when he was chosen from an already select number of students who were being considered for this honor at his highly selective school. He had worked very hard to accomplish this, to distinguish himself. He studied hard instead of partying hard. He had to buckle down. He had to say no to a lot of things in order to dedicate himself to achieving this honor. And in his speech, he shared how happy it made him feel to be chosen as valedictorian. His joy, he's told his listeners, it lasted for up to 15 seconds. And then he realized how much he had sacrificed. Instead of enjoying his friends during their last year of school together, he had hunkered down in solitude. And once that 15 seconds of bliss had passed, he was full of regret. The price for this kind of success had been too high. He realized that it had cut him off from many of his relationships. It was a painful lesson for him. It was an interesting valedictorian speech, I'll tell you that. And yet, the regret, the suffering that he experienced may serve a purpose. It seems to be leading him to a deeper awareness and appreciation for the value of relationships in life. commitments to other people. Our culture teaches us to strive for individual success. But if and when you get there, many have discovered that the human heart has yearnings that are not satisfied by this kind of success. Well, what does satisfy? How about a spiffier new version of success? No, I don't think so. I don't think that the road to success is a new path. I don't think that the answer to the road to success that our heart's deepest yearnings look for, I don't think the answer is new. It's long been out there. It's been around. But it's been forgotten as we've come to live in more and more lonely and isolated circumstances with little sense of belonging to a larger community. So many people have no sense of connection to a larger community. In his book, Tribe, Arthur Sebastian Junger notes that in the earliest days of our national history, European settlers noticed something that unsettled them. And it's this: whenever Europeans were captured by Native Americans, there'd be a raid or something, maybe some children, I don't know. But whenever they were captured and they had the opportunity to return to civilization, many people didn't want to come back. They didn't want to come back. In fact, there was a discernible pattern of settlers defecting and going to live in Native American communities. I never learned that in my American history classes, but it's true. Alternately, whenever Native Americans were captured and given opportunities to assimilate into the settler society, they invariably did all they could to get the heck out of there. They wanted to escape. And this made no sense to the settlers. After all, theirs was, according to their view, a more advanced, superior civilization. But in fact, the communal life in Native American society, it provided a sense of connection and belonging that the individualistic norms of the settler society lacked, and was therefore more attractive to many people. And you could understand why, I think. Well, that was a long time ago. And yet the problem of social isolation has gotten more extreme now than at any point in American history, I would say. For a variety of complex reasons, people are now more isolated and separated, alone. Many years ago, that's where I found myself just before I entered the ministry, off on my own path through life. And I took a certain kind of pride in this. I had spirituality. I didn't need religion, didn't believe in it, didn't see the need for it. Today, I would characterize my attitude as the kind of pride that you see in spiritual elitism, which covers up an underlying need to think that you're somehow better than most other folks who are deemed unenlightened. But what's the difference between spirituality and religion? A lot of common ground there, but much could be said about this, but I appreciate the way one rabbi put it, and he said, spirituality is an emotion. Religion is an obligation. Spirituality soothes, religion mobilizes. Spirituality is satisfied with itself, religion is dissatisfied with the world. And to which the rabbi adds, spirituality lasts and deepens only if it is lived out within the maddening community of organized religion. I might not completely agree with this characterization of spirituality and religion, but there's some points in there that are really worth taking in. Organized religion, it makes for a very easy target. No matter which organized religion you're talking about, I can assure you that all of them are made up of frail and flawed human beings, and that organized religion can be more of a curse than a blessing. Past history, and even today, right now, provide bloody examples of organized religion getting hijacked by the forces of bigotry and hatred and intolerance. And yet organized religious communities, such as our congregations, are blessings in our society because here we create opportunities for spiritually grounded communal connection. Here we make and promote commitments that serve the common good. And hearing and heeding that call to serve the common good, look more deeply into that. It's really the call to love humankind, all beings. All beings. Answering the call to serve such a love that touches all souls takes you on a road. It's not a narrow path, only traveled by a few, the spiritually elect. Indeed, this path is broad. It's been traveled by countless souls, past and present. It's open to one and all. It's the path of agape love, boundless compassion. So what about Jesus' warning? I respect Jesus, the words of Jesus. I take them seriously. So what about that warning that many are called, but few are chosen? Well, check in with the Bible scholars on that one. And they almost unanimously conclude Jesus never said such a thing. It's out of character for him. It comes from a later source. Wash that one away. Jesus didn't say it. Jesus and other great saints and sages did not come to bring bad news, but good news. And the good news is that the road to success is right in front of you. Will you join me now for a period of quiet reflection, prayerful reflection? Think of your life, the journey of your life. So much of it alone. And yet be aware of your connections to others, your family, your friends, your community. Be aware that you are part of something great, greater than you can imagine. Be aware that you are being called by love, to move into relationships characterized by compassion and understanding, helpfulness. As we look at our lives and consider the deepest yearnings of our hearts, we know that we find meaning when we bring meaning and compassion to others. So let us continue on. Continue on weaving new relationships, making new commitments as we recreate what has been destroyed, as we rebuild what has been torn down. Together we are called. Amen.
I see on the screen that the Marion Polk Food Share is supposed to be our Share the Plate recipient, but I think that switched over with the month of March, and I have that our Share the Plate recipient this month is, in fact, Latinos Unidos Siempre, which is also called LUS. LUS was founded in 1996 by a group of Latinx youth in Salem who decided to take a stand against the constant profiling and criminalization of youth of color by local authorities and of immigration raids terrorizing their families at that time. Since then, LUS has grown into an organization that empowers youth through leadership development, which is exercised through civic and community engagement and grassroots organizing. Latinos Unidos Siempre works around issues of immigration rights and economic, environmental, and racial justice, as well as any local issues that affect youth members and their families. The mission of LUS is ultimately for every youth who comes to the program to feel empowered and capable of being a leader in their community. You'll notice there'll be a screen pretty soon, and you'll notice on the screen the ways you may donate to Share the Plate, which is Latinos Unidos Siempre, and to also submit your offering. And we thank you for your kind generosity. Thank you, Laura and John. That was lovely. We light our social justice candle each week to remind us of the many ways this congregation extends support, caring, and kindness to the wider world. There you go. And now we extinguish these flames, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, and the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
After the service today, please do join us for our Zoom fellowship gatherings. They follow us at 12 p.m. after the Sunday service. You can see how you can do the Zoom registration by getting on our website and following the directions. Also, last Saturday, not yesterday, but a week before, we launched our stewardship campaign, and we would love it if you would take the time to make an estimate of giving, fill out an estimate of giving form so we can prepare our budget for the coming year. You see a QR code which will help you do that. You can simply put your phone camera up to it and it'll take you right there, or you can click on a link. Either way, it's really important that all our members and friends do take the opportunity to do this so we can fully support this wonderful congregation. You can see other announcements that are flashed on your screen, so please pay attention to those. I'm reading them now to make sure that I'm aware of them too. Please do check our website too for further information about the programs and activities of our congregation. I think we're good. Thank you.
Our closing hymn today is number 121 in the gray hymnal, We'll Build a Land.
We'll build a land where we bind up the broken. We'll build a land where the captives go free, where the oil of gladness dissolves all mourning. Oh, we'll build a promised land that can be. Come, build a land where sisters and brothers, anointed by God, may then create peace, where justice shall roll down like waters, and peace like an ever-flowing stream. We'll build a land where we bring the good tidings to all the afflicted and all those who mourn, and we'll give them garlands instead of ashes. Oh, we'll build a land where peace is born. Come, build a land where sisters and brothers, anointed by God, may then create peace, where justice shall roll down like waters, and peace like an ever-flowing stream. We'll be a land building up ancient cities, raising up devastations from old, restoring ruins of generations. Oh, we'll build a land of people so bold. Come, build a land where sisters and brothers, anointed by God, may then create peace, where justice shall roll down like waters, and peace like an ever-flowing stream.
And now let us join hands in the spirit of promise and community as we say our closing words. May faith in the spirit of life, hope for the community of earth, and love for the sacred in one another be ours now and in all the days to come.